That's the one.
Promotional work, and they did the right thing. He made that company successful. He became the image for that company.
We started in September '75. By 2 years of the campaign running, O.J. Simpson was the star presenter of the year for Advertising Age. There was never a story that was written about O.J. that didn't mention Hertz.
Coming or going on a business trip, you've got no time to waste.
I can see him right now flying through the airport.
Whether it's picking up or dropping off.
I was proud. It made me want that. It gave me hope.
This is an important moment. The young black kid seeing a black man running on television. That's all he sees. He said, he looks like my Uncle Reggie.
You know it.
That's something I could do. I want to be like OJ on television.
Hi, ever need to run a car fast? Watch.
You're in the limelight. We like seeing you. You look like us. Kind of like when I first saw black people brushing their teeth on TV. I mean, we always knew we brushed our teeth, but it was like a big thing. Like, come see. That's what happened with O.J. Simpson. Those were heights that we had not reached before. So he was a pioneer.
You're a black man in America. You're fighting our war. If you make a success for yourself somewhere, you've opened a door.
Fortunately, because of the riots of the early 60s, some doors were open to me. If I would have looked at myself as any other way except a man, my brother could walk into the room and know what he was doing like that. I mean, I walk into the room and I got the black or white in the room. And in '68, when I started to work with some white companies, together with other divisions, I walked in the room and I thought that I was the first black guy. I never even did that in the street.
Lincoln was famous. None of the people that we associated with them as a black man. Success. Success. I think people want to be success.
O.J. was the first to demonstrate that white folks with high stakes based on a black endorsement, as long as it was not pressed as a black endorsement. And the way they did that was to remove black people's total faith in the sentiment that O.J. was in.
I'm out for blood right now. I'm out for blood. Look at my team. I got Adam Sandler on my second line.
When you see the commercial, the black guy was in there. We'll get them if people like that.
So we came up with the idea of putting in various characters who would see O.J. and endorse him by saying, O.J.
Man, that's why it's Jeff Bailey attitude. I will tell you it's because of the deleted scene in Almost Famous.
They bought the notion that you can
Where he
use
says,
the black character, the culture. This is what made O.J. laughable.
I'll have to let them play while I find it.
Man, he almost has white features. He wasn't the typical black look, African look.
What white America got out of it was they could point to somebody that had made it and demonstrated unequivocally that we are more than willing to not just accept you, but to embrace you. What O.J. got out of it was money, fame, celebrity. How he lived, how
feel like you have pressure in some ways to, people expect that you're going to get here, so you always have to.
Well, I found that I thought that maybe my problem would be that I would have to tear that down. I would have to, I found I was becoming a trap, getting trapped within the image other people have of me. My image was dictating what I did and who I was. I even had a manager at one point. I was going to do something, and he said, "You can't do that. OJ would never do that." I said, "Wait a minute, I'm OJ Simpson, and I'm going to do it." And I think it's someone who's like that. If I was not out there, I probably want to catch on and keep doing it. I was pulled into it once or twice in the draft when I was a kid. I think they tried to use this in communication with the hit guy. I felt that maybe I was just a big time to make a hit guy call. Standing on his platform, I thought they shouldn't stand on their own platform. I said, if I stand on the platform, I'm just shooting the over. Dennis, he got spread so thin that he's able to play high.
When did you first meet Mr. Simpson? 1970.
Okay, and under what circumstances?
I met him on a tennis court.
Were you able to describe Mr. Simpson's basic personality as you knew it?
Very personable, very outgoing, and good business and so
want to be around these people. Because they're all humble to me. I said, OJ, I told you, man. These people don't care nothing about us. Just a few years ago, these guys drove their own car and their Rolls Royce, and they wouldn't have even spent us. I said, now, they act like we are all lost brothers. I said, man, the only reason we're here is we're jealous and we're OJ. And he looked at me, and she was like, I understand what you're saying. And he understood what you're saying. He said, I'm OJ. I'm mad at you. I'm with you. And I was like, man, I was curious. Because I said, who's next? He's lost. He said, no. He doesn't know who he is anymore. How many have been brainwashed?
Let me read you something else. That sort of thing hurts me, even though it's what I strive for, to be a man first. Maybe it's money, class. The Negro is always identified as poverty. Anything that's really made as black, not really. So it's more than just money. As black men, we need something up there all the time for us. But what I'm doing is not for principles or for no. I'm giving first O.J. Simpson, his wife, and his brother.
O.J.'s quest was to erase race as a defining factor in his life. And that was the basis of which black society not only accepted him, but embraced him. Now, there are problems with that. Because one label OJ, to be OJ, and not be black. They had so many Negro, black people stood up, made the sacrifice, paid the price. The ones that and then he was saying, we need to have this, but I have a right. And as far as I'm concerned, everybody else can get here the same way that I did. When they get it, they can do what I did for them.
He was so good. He was so accepted. He was so embraced. And he was immune from the reality that he could find in the world of the Negro. No matter how far he runs, or how long he runs, nothing new that runs right there every day.
Hasn't changed a bit.
Dad opened the door, he was in the bathroom, It's just not confident. And then you hit that and looking at that more, and there's a guy in the background. Too, so it's obvious that he's gay. Get up, and on the way back, we were quiet. Because we was so much tension. When we got to this certain point, and we would bust out laughing.
Think of OJ as an American man, a true American man, American man, who's recreating himself in a way that people would accept and praise.
O.J. Simpson may be playing the last game of his brilliant football career tomorrow with the Buffalo Bills and the Minnesota Vikings. All year, O.J. has seen that he may have his cleats for a movie career.
He still got weight to get out of that. He was away from the glamour. He was away from all the Hollywood and all that stuff. He got the attention here, it's a different kind of attention. Not Hollywood attention.
Luc Saban said today that he's detected a change in the two. He hasn't diminished one bit as a competitor, but he's an intelligent man and he's thinking about the whole of his future life.
There are certain opportunities outside of football that I can't, I just can't overlook too many more years. Came into the league, I thought that was all years, and I realized doing that there's opportunities that have come to me with agency, with the movies that I would like to take advantage of. I mean, the only thing I want to do right now is play just the best possible year I can with the team I feel like I did in my life, and I realize that I did.
But you're only very precious while it's in the job.
You've got to take 20 minutes precious to me.
I always felt that there was more fundamental Simpson than just the momentary superficiality of his president. He had goals that he wanted to achieve and he internalized those things. There was something driving him, and I always felt that he wasn't the last official that was going to get him to the
Would you and your men please follow me?
What the hell is this? This is an emergency. Please follow me. Now!
One of the most intriguing films now being put together in Hollywood is Capricorn 1. James Brolin plays the first astronaut to set foot on Mars, but the picture's scene stealer will probably be O.J. Simpson.
It basically came from his people that they wanted O.J. Simpson. I thought they were worthy of American actors who had played these as actors who were in the time. The first person we did was Robert Hook and Casey, so my reaction was less than enthusiastic. That's some down.
Damn it, man, you should have sent a man up there. How do you expect me to be a phone call? He's dead.
I thought he was not going to strike him down to go with us. Maybe it was a celebrity who knew somebody who had not seen off the tops to play the part.
How tight do you get making a picture like Capricorn 1 where you're looking at a company of actors and a real stature and you're just a football star trying to do it? No, I don't think it's giving me that feeling. Obviously giving the feeling of, I still got a lot to learn. I think never stop learning anything, and I realize I'm still just a babe, in woods.
My goal was to see if I could make this guy look for what I am. Sometimes in the last scene.
these guys march and believe it. So rather than him acting somewhere desperately thirsty, I put appliances on his face that made it difficult to move and talk. And it just made him sound like he was in desperate trouble.
I don't want to die.
And he was pretty good. You know, what can I say? He was a charming, terrific guy. He was a positive guy. He tried very hard. And it was clear that he saw a future for himself in film. Jason started this one. He already had it. That was the following year season. One day he said, "You'd come around the Betwick's Simpson guy. Could you bring him by and do something?" He was married to my but as we're sitting there, this gorgeous little circle of boxes waiting tables at lunch hour. Hey, Nicole come over and said hello. She was 18 years old. She had just graduated from high school. She was just like my little sister. She was an actress in New York, and his name was O.J. Simpson. They went out and I raided up on her. She got home, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. Her jeans were ripped. And I'm like, what happened? And she goes, well, he was a little thirsty. Why didn't you let him thirsty and be a little bit forceful? Well, don't take yourself, take it away with this thing. That was the strategy. About 2 days later, she went back to work. She said, OJ came in, he wants to get an apartment for me, and also a car. And I said, well, think about this. You know, he's married, he has a partner. And I think I really liked this guy. It was that fast. 18 years old, I mean, that was too long.
She was quiet, nice, intelligent. She looked like she was different, but she was just a shy person. And Nicole was a deal. Married the first day married, so she could do it.
She actually wanted to be a photographer, and she's always been fun.
Actually, the connections to the obvious and the
So when Nicole came home with him, we were like, who are you? They had a real love affair, these two. When they were together, it was love. And that's what makes this thing so sad.
appreciated your cheers. And I want you to know that I already know it's what I'm going to miss most. Thank you all very much.
O.J. Simpson living together with this really he wanted to get maybe 3 black people in the entire community.
Los Angeles is unlike other places. If you're from a very neighborhood, especially if you're from like Oakland, where everyone has a worship team and a sports center, and couldn't wait to shake hands.
Each of somebody who's been in Rockingham decided that they're by there and really hey,
other parts of the city would be true.
On January 3rd, 1979, 2 members of the Los Angeles Police Department shot and killed Luc Robitaille and a dispute over a $22.09 utility bill. She died on the front line before the eyes of her own children.
There is no single problem in the history of the development than the shooting.
This is where Mrs. Eula Love stood the day the shooting took place. There was an officer here, an officer there. She held a knife in her hand. There was a scuffle, the knife was knocked out of her hand. She reached for it, and as she threw it, the officers opened fire.
This is a woman who had a tough time. And she was desperate. So there was a lot of empathy going out to her from the community.
Once again, we have a member of the black community dead under circumstances that are highly questionable of them.
It's been determined that the evidence does not warrant the filing of criminal charges. This was a justifiable homicide committed by the officers in their self-defense.
As far as LAPD was concerned, it was just illegal, and everybody was supposed to accept it. This is on the lips and the minds of everybody in the community.
It didn't help that you had the police chief who did it poorly and was responsible.
I commented on the media companies that are chill the nation in this situation or talk about a $22 gas bill. It doesn't make any difference, but it is a $69 gas bill.
It's the states. These are not good.
I guess they're going to still come out of this with the being for other things. Just simply not true. empathy and sympathy for your love and family. He should celebrate. They should help.
I was a big fan of Jordan across the street. Big, with his spotlight on, field program, all enforcement. So he was an innovator. But he was also a controversial one.
We have officers out there doing the job, attempting to make good judgment based on the information they have, protecting themselves and protecting the people of the city of Los Angeles, they knew and go to help.
He loved his officers.
No doubt.
And they were hard to those officers.
There's no go down swinging.
It's a bittersweet story of two people caught between their emotions and their actions in A Killing Affair, Sunday at 3 on Channel 9.
Life for a black person, in a way, unfortunately, is different than for white people, and especially for black people who attain race success. Race success is for more communities, for you to literally walk the straight and narrow. I know that you are contemplating a right lane. I wouldn't ask in this question if we were living in different times, but we aren't, and there seems to be this sort of dichotomy to it. How do you feel?
Well, I was one of the things with this people tend to expect things from me. I think my creative element is really me. When I get into rewriting, people look at that, I'm not going to use that. And I say, hey, I accepted Jesus Christ, and I try to be into every. I do what is morally right and acceptable to me. I am not prejudiced in any form. Obviously, I got to work it out.
I admire his celebrity skills. He accomplished quite a bit to move from an athlete to a position of celebrity and love all of the people, not just black people. He didn't come as often as I thought he should, but he did come to church. I think he was ready to really like people. She wanted him to be honest to the others. She was too wise about all of the things that he saw growing up. Her mother was a staunch Christian, and she had embedded within him the tenets of Jesus Christ. I would talk to him about having a team. That all that came from God. And the time when Lucy responded to how good God has been to me. Some days he put me in his room, he would agree. But he was not out there publicly fighting for African Americans. I think each person who is in the limelight has an obligation to make things better for the last and least and that kind of thing. And I thought he should have done
as black people do not take on the responsibility to do something for ourselves, we really should be scorned in the eye of the world.
In my circles, there were not a lot of people who were preoccupying themselves with getting to OJ or believing that OJ could be turned around or someday was going to come to his senses and embrace all of the things and have the values that we have in terms of really, really doing something demonstrably for the black community. OJ was just one of those things that you just kind of dismiss it. It was lost cause. There's a voice with Luc on any issue that related to black people, our salvation, police brutality, all of those things.
I don't know that he felt that he was sacrificing what other people thought he was. It was something that was really about who you were raised to be. How does one sustain that over that period of time? How does one bring oneself to that degree of denial?
That's just the reality of black America and white America. Two totally separate worlds.
Totally accepted by the white world. Underneath that, you learn all of the indignities of black people. Although it's impossible to believe that he's that brilliant an actor, I think he was always kind of on when he was in the white world, and we weren't when he was in the black world. Which makes him the right soul for our book.
He very much wanted to be cast in Dr. Robitaille, and he worked hard in trying to get that part. He saw the part as being something that he could go into the dimension of actor.
Let's say you acted here for a moment. Why did you want to be lower from his business?
First of all, it was the really that's why I think maybe that's a big gift. Considered my only failure.
Let me feel like you just like what's one? Yeah, looking for example, I love Forrest. Who are you? My name is Courthouse Walker Jr.
When I read the book, I could identify with this guy so much. It was a black man at a time when you were supposed to know your black. You were supposed to know your place.
Would you please wait on the bus?
I was raised in the sports world where you're only judged by your abilities and what you have to do.
He was part of a guy who created himself and destroyed himself, ultimately.
Again, among other things, he was very prideful and suffered for his pride.
Whoever Bruce started it. You spend the money on your way. Build yourself a home and family where you can find some comfort. Just forget that some damn white man comes to your house.
I can understand exactly what he felt. When we walked in the room, he gave no credence to the fact that he was black and he wasn't supposed to say things or be treated any differently. And that's where I tried to look at my life. So I felt I was the right person for that role. I felt that I was today's pro-life walker. Just forget it. Is that it?
I spent my whole life with it. Remember, you better start running now.
Learning what? How to be a nigger?
You know, there is some tragedy in your life in the last 10 years. You lost a child. I want to talk about how it changed you.
Baby, darling, what's your name? Give us a wave. This is Alex.
I don't know how much it changed me. I was trying to live my life for this. I used to be so busy. I was only really 3 months. And it's something partially cost me a marriage. When I lost my daughter, I was gone. When my first daughter was born, I was gone.
When you lose a child, it's very hard. 3 weeks before Aaron...
Good job.
Good job.
Cool.
The boy stuff in San Leandro, California. So the tragedy affected his home. It still affects me, so I know how it affects him.
He didn't bring it up away from toughness, rather. I think it's the single most horrible thing in the world.
I think that you're marrying a stupid.
You got rid of that memory or got rid of that memory? You just compartmentalized it and got on it.
If anything, I made up my mind that I would be around. And it's nice to be loved by everybody. It's the people that love me that do that. So I guess if anything, I'm just going to be a little more loving than people, a little more people that chosen to share their lives with me.
Now by the authority committed unto me as a minister in the Church of Jesus Christ according to the laws of the state of California. It gives me meaningful life, motivated soul, financial husband, and wife.
We love Juice like my brother. Charlie's my partner, and we're just totally knocked out that he finally took this step.
They had a great wedding. Of course, they had amazing music and crystal champagne, whatever drink, whatever drink. It was a great party. And they had a really strong, gorgeous couple.
I just thought that they were the ideal couple because it seems like to me, they just had so much fun.
Nicole was funny and she was fun to be around. She was a very good friend.
okay in my life, but for any athlete, it's very difficult time because in my career, I was supposed to be forced at the time, but all my life I wanted to be
Push nice. Hold it. Bobert.
He was really proud of her.
I knew that was going to happen. Thanks,
She was
Bobert.
running the show at Rocky.
Let's just
Andrew.
Score?
You never know. In anything. And that's what really wanted him to say. And also made Rockingham my castle.
Often hates video games.
The most interesting politician.
He really does. We need you, Phil. We still need you, Phil. Good penalty, Andy.
I've always had a lot of what I call failure. That's what we're doing. You need a more, I guess, in your life. I have to be successful at taking soft drinks in the beer that the guys do. Most of the aspects of O.J. Simpson is that you're one of the few people who's not only been successful in that fight, but that's a really still able to last football.
Well, it's real exciting for me to be back here, on the field that I had so many thrills and experience these Buffalo Bills fans, and believe me, Howard, they're in rare form tonight.
Well, it's sort of tried to be a commentator.
Following that save.
That's a testament to Walker's conditioning. This guy works out harder than anybody.
He very much was involved in corporate America and I think in his time, very intelligent, highlight his into it.
Really was a businessman. His new friends were all super wealthy, powerful white men. And I think really the reason he surrounded himself with all these big successful entrepreneurs was because he saw himself as one too.
I've always been trying to be a good person.
This opportunity for leaders. I think that's kind of
He could have screwed his around with getting ratio. Dude, street smart. This man was an Einstein. He could anywhere and manipulate and figure out exactly what his right fingers were thinking. But it was also that it was black people. It was almost magnetic. It was too brown too. Others told him he was a woman. He thought he could do certain things in business and wasn't capable. One day he had been on the 20th century. Wonderful. But he didn't think it. Something that beats you, I think a lot of people like myself, to face up to what created this complex story. It wasn't just him. How can I say that?
You don't think a celebrity, I don't think we want to it's like they put a twist on the TV. This was something that was better. This is what but yet he was academic. I don't think he was in Jamaica. OJ was fine for Jamaica. They opened the back.
Naked Gun surprised me. How funny he was. He's a funny man. He was always a very funny man. And he was always selflessly funny.
No, hi, everybody. Hey, baby. God says I should be on my demon as good as you in a week. And back on the force. Birthday. What?
Everyone should have
I used to take a lot of popcorn to AJ's house, and they never told me who was going to be. And I just remember looking for this question on my partner's face, and looking for what they're looking at the door, and then I started looking at, like some of the guys, you know, look at that door, and you could see them met little kids around this place. And then you went there something. All the time. You ask people to autograph, you ask people to autograph, and it was really like the best thing.
Well, let's take a look at today's black culture in the city of Los Angeles. The most important point that should be considered in law enforcement setting involving blacks is the matter of respect. Everyone should be treated in a respectful manner.
People who have been abused by the police have no regard for them. They don't believe that the police comes to protect them, comes to serve them.
That would be an unfortunate error in judgment for you to conclude that all persons of a particular group are similar to the few you have contact while you are working.
The story, you know, it's our job too, that we have that we've got to do this. Yeah? Because we can't let you go.
Look how I am. I'm light, bright, but damn sure not white, okay? But the reality is, when I'm stopped by the police, you know, they treat me like a nigga.
Okay, let's roll.
be careful.
In 1978, Los Angeles Police Chief Warren Gates apologized after saying some Hispanic officers don't advance in the ranks because they are, quote, lazy. And now, an NAACP official is calling a comment by Chief Gates, quote, so horrendous that it's lazy.
It all started when he first defended controversial chokeholds.
A number of African-American suspects had died after being subjected to a chokehold. And Gates was asked about it, and he said the problem was that they didn't respond the same as all white people.
The chief needs some time off to remove his foot from his mouth and LAPD's chokehold from the necks of black people.
When I started covering the police department, you could feel the residue of that. Police officers used to refer to cars, which a lot of laws. And they would call them back in front of the reporter. So it's safe to say that there's a sort of easy call it racial insensitivity, call it racism within the department. I moved to LA in 1988. I had a music coach for years. And she said, I have to give you the black man's guide to survive. So whatever you do, don't talk to other people.
That was the belief that we overwhelmed the community with reports where we believed that violent criminals we could rid the problem.
Over the past week or so, Chief Gates,
Over the last month, there was about 20,000 arrests. Just on the last weekend, we were 1,400.
The culture of officers who felt that the only way the world will survive is if it neutralizes these individuals as soon as possible. And in the process of doing that, they're based in the
Put the kids in the bed. Next thing I know, they just came in with guns and they were saying, get down, and they grabbed me by the back of my head and he threw me on the floor and he kicked me and he hit me on my back and he said, get down, bitch. And then the kids were just hiding and screaming. Next thing I know, they just tearing the place up.
1988, 39th and Dalton.
Not the best police practices, not the best way to manage a warrant service.
Everything was destroyed as police batted and rammed their way from room to room searching for drugs. Much of what they found were screaming mothers and children.
This is my bedroom over here, but I even broke all the mirrors and stuff out the bed.
When they literally destroyed the apartment, where supposedly drug activity was going on. Within 3/4 of an hour, hospital couldn't see it, along with 6 hours at 5. You wouldn't go to Beverly Hills and do that. You even thought they were a mafia hangouts. You know, the two.
Insurance?
pretty much to do what they wanted to do.
Hi, I'm O.J. Simpson, and this season on HBO, I'm going to be high-stepping right into your living room. Can we do it?
And my generation didn't have a television. So I would take my t-shirts and write something, and I'd put them on his number, 32, and okay, I'm OJ.
Hi, I'm O.J. Simpson, and this season on HBO, I'm going to be high-stepping right into your living room.
I just stopped running there, and I stopped working. And I was, you know,
It's a time to show off your skills. You can prove yourself as a man.
I did 4 endorsements, 2 basically
This week in training camp. This week in training camp. This week in training camp.
Make a change! Make a change!
Remember, he had a little 100-yard dash with Marcus Allen. He had bad knees on Justin Moore, and he beat fucking Marcus. I couldn't believe it. That's something inside of him. He wanted to win, no matter what it took. Get out of the shower. They need it. All of a sudden, he finds his ball up in a place where he probably will. He sees the ball sitting on the tee. He says, you can't do this shit now. And the truth, Mike, is do you know the odds of the ball landing on a tee in this area? He totally was not going to confess to anything. He definitely did.
Then he got his
just the opening, you know, people would pick up checks. I would say, they're just always going to get in somewhere. That's it too. I think he became entitled.
I certainly thought the Gaza got over because of the lifestyle and was very charmed by him. It always did sense that part of it was not sincere.
One side of my other side.
And I didn't feel that he took advantage of that. And if he allowed him to, I think he was
Integrity was not a psychopath.
Just never stopped.
Quarter neck all the time and tried to make sexual, advance and I pushed him off. I think OJ got entitled to anything OJ wanted. And I think that he really needed that accusation. She may have affairs, and it drove her crazy. Most of her big fights were about his affairs with women.
A lot of his work, from his brother and his father, when I was going to sort of show him, holding him, watching TV. I don't know how she put up with it.
It was pretty amazing. I think he even blamed this affair with Tony Katane the fact that Nico got fat when she got pregnant. And he didn't want to have sex with her. It's something as superficial and cold as that.
I told you we were breaking the laws. And nobody does it. We need to. Don't pay for it. One day, everybody's going to pay, but you can't.
Hello?
I said, do you want to get arrested for beating you? She said, yes. About that time, O.J. Simpson came right up to the fence and he started yelling. And listen to him talking now. Also, right up his forehead. You're gonna have to go get dressed so I can take you.
Fix lines, come on!
He turned around
little smog today. Everybody's taking it easy. Here at the 75th Rose Bowl game, score 7-3.
1989, Trojans were in the Rose Bowl. I was privileged enough to have sideline passes, and that was actually the first time I'd ever been to a Rose Bowl game on the sidelines, because when I was a walk-on at USC, I never got to play. I was just having the time of my life. All of a sudden, one of OJ's really, really good friends came up and tapped me on the shoulder. He said, "Hey man, OJ had a problem last night, you know, and he really needs to talk to you." When I called, he said, "Hey man, I had a little riff. Boys had to come out. Right now I feel like I'm a fugitive." And he explained to me that they had an argument. And she got real physical with him, and he did the defend himself and grabbed her and hold her. And the way he told me the story, I was like, "Oh, no big deal, you know. We didn't hit her. You know, he said she was aggressive and we were trying to stop her from beating you up. No big deal." And when I got to work the next morning, it was a big deal. Someone was talking, and there was a coach in the office. "Hey, what's up?" She was like, "You hear how it happened?" I said, "Yeah, I did hear it happen." And she told me it wasn't the first time. So I took it from the class meetings, and I took this picture.
The way I saw that, that Christmas convinced me that there was something really, really wrong. He freaked out about Nicole. He's sitting there with her little son next to her. I mean, he just freaked. And they fought, all the time. The next day I got a call, and he freaked out on New Year's Eve and beat the hell out of him.
Nicole knew that I used to teach domestic violence in the Los Angeles Police Department. And she asked me, OJ's dad is gay. Do you think this is why he beats me? And I was like, no. A lot of stuff has to do with the self-esteem. But you see, from that night, I definitely got looking for treatment. Not let it be anybody else. You or me, we were in jail.
I did place him under arrest. I tried my best, but couldn't get to him. So we tell someone you're under arrest, you are under arrest. If you freeze, then there's a killing fire. The unique thing about OJ is it wasn't where can you go? Where can you hide? Where can you run to? On the face of this earth, where can he go?
police department says there will be no comment until its investigation is complete. Unchecked, no charges have been filed.
This is what happens when you take away a tool that would have ended this in 10 seconds. Trouble.
Look how this thing looks. Will never be the same again.
Oh, it was devastating because there's going to be a belief that if these guys do it, everybody else does it. Those guys driving down the street in black and white can do that, and then it's just not the case. But that visual window, folks remember that, and they will take it to their grave.
That home video showing a black motorist being beaten by a white Los Angeles policeman has triggered investigations now by the FBI, the district attorney there, and the police department itself.
Media didn't give LAPD a break on this one. They showed that tape over and over and over. I mean, it wasn't just in Los Angeles, it was all over the world.
Nous sommes un dimanche soir en Californie aux États-Unis.
I was embarrassed for Los Angeles.
The real significance wasn't what you saw on the tape. That tape became exhibit one for every mishandling, abuse, and excessive force incident in anyone that was killed.
This is a aberrant. This is something that should never have happened. We have in place all of the procedures that can keep it from happening. Those procedures are down for human error. And we will hear about human error.
I believe things like that do happen from time to time. But they are enough. It's not what happens all day, every day, in the thousands of contacts that occur. I believe all everybody. I think the thing that's most shocking about isn't even what happens to Ken. It's the fact that all those officers go back to the first division level. None of them know what it is. They all file their reports, and then one of them says, in any document, that they saw anything wrong. That suggests to me a culture of confusion. This wasn't perceived as something wrong.
In Los Angeles today, 4 men were arrested, photographed, and fingerprinted. They were policemen, charged with assault with a deadly weapon and the beating of a black motorist. Named in the indictment, officers Lawrence Carter, Ted DeSant, and Timothy Wynn, and their supervising sergeant, Stacey Cooner. The FBI will investigate whether the federal civil rights of convicted Martin King have been violated.
The stories on the scary conflict. We really want to say this is a problem, speeding in the floor, and the reports of the hoods and yelling through the weapons. We want to say it was a motorist, and he was stopped at a racist stop. How many of these cops are racist? Use excessive force? Absolutely. The racist part is really cut to short down. During the 38 years there, I didn't see it.
Civil rights organizations say the Los Angeles Police Department has a history of brutality and misconduct that goes back a quarter of a century, including one incident that sparked the rock riders. We want effective law enforcement in the city of Los Angeles.
Take so many shots before your reputation is so set that it can be manipulated over and over again. That will always be included in the argument to demonstrate how brutal and insensitive and racist the RAPD is. It's like you can't put Humpty Dumpty back together.
We're outraged, we're disgusted, and let's close this one with no
comes in the flash of hours. Come into the fountain with what she was going to find, one and the other. Altercation. That's again. Shot in the back of the head.
Prison. I think that the death of Natasha deserved that. The court decided otherwise. Mrs. Dew was placed on probation for 5 years on following terms and conditions. Mrs. Dew is to perform 400 hours of community service.
Tension in the environment and the disrespect shown to black life was the thing.
The day of my wedding, I found out that he and it was because Nicole was having very bad cramps from her period. I thought it was a lie.
It was always Nicole's fault. I mean, even the 89 thing. Carter was sitting in the golf cart. I listened for 9 holes. Everything that she did wrong to create what had happened. You think that she's bruised up, you should have seen my face, you know, the whole pity thing that he always went through. I think anybody that knew that it was over, then it was a matter of when would Nicole have the fortitude to just completely walk away.
She said, Ron, if it wasn't for the kids, I'd be out of here. And then I get a call from OJ. He says, you gotta help me here. You gotta help save this marriage. You gotta talk to Nicole. Tell her I'll never do it again. I saw her start to soften. Because by this time, OJ is just doing everything with the kids. And they're just having a great time. He's taking them there, he's taking them there. She's looking at me going, hey, Ron, he's really changing. He's really changing.
When it turned toward the domestic violence, that was one that nobody wanted to hear. The police didn't want to hear it. Most certainly Hertz didn't want to hear it. NBC didn't want to hear it. Nobody wanted to deal with that.
When we heard that, I thought that was it. It's over. You know who called me to tell me that it was a false arrest? Nicole. Nicole called me and said, Frank, it didn't happen that way. They'd had a terrible argument, but he wasn't abusive. They just overreacted.
I certainly understand how she got involved with him, and I can understand how hard it would be to leave that. There's a lot to do, especially if it was to go back to your parents' house in Newport Beach and start over.
OJ was an income producer for the family. But not only just Nicole and OJ, but Nicole's father, mother, sisters. He was
Nicole told me that she felt her family side was open. And that was good for her and for the group.
Nicole and the trophy for something that they didn't possess. They didn't control it.
What kind of fans reaction did you get? And what kind of corporate reaction did you get? Surprisingly, so supportive is unbelievable. It's not so supportive, you know. Most of the people in our restaurant know us real well, so they can see firsthand that our relationship is as strong as not only as it's ever been, but as strong as anybody I know. So nobody dropped you into another contract. So one thing people realize about OJ is he is extremely well involved in the business. He doesn't want to do this because it's embarrassing to him, but he's one of the owners of 100 firms. Now owns a couple of things, 3 employees, when something like this happens, it takes a bite out of it, but, you know, we've got to stop it. And that's when we really got that together. And it was good for them, that's when, you know, we kind of had that positive.
I'm back. I knew I'd be back. Hey, don't worry about it. You know, I'll be back.
wife, Nicole. Ricard was punished when Simpson went golfing. He spent his 120 hours of community service organizing a celebrity tournament. Prosecutors in the case say they wanted him to go to jail.
Can you imagine if every time he did something violent like that, that a report would have been made? When I got to the station, I checked the computer, there would have been 8 previous domestic incident reports on file. Then I would have put that in my report and sent it on to the prosecutor, that most likely that would have been filed as a felony, because it would have shown that a slap on the hand is not going to cure this from happening again. And that's why I come on to report. I don't have a garage full of reports. I have one report.